have not eaten in a few days. Turn to Matthew chapter 12, because we're going to see what the Lord has to say about it. Matthew 12. And since we're back online, I'll repeat the question. The question was, if you see someone on the Sabbath who needs some money, they might be homeless, is it okay for you to give them money even though it's a Sabbath? And it's a good question. For those online, to answer that question in short, yeah, you're going to help that individual. Because what sense does it make for you to give, for you to walk by that person and say, hey, well, God bless you, it's a Sabbath, I help you out. It don't make no sense. Matthew chapter 12, and pick it up at verse 1.
At that time, Jesus went on the Sabbath day through the corn, and his disciples were an hungered, and began to pluck the ears of corn and to eat. But when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto him, Behold, thy disciples do that which is not lawful to do upon the Sabbath day.
So we see this is Jesus when he came to earth, and he walked as a man. It says, at that time, Jesus went on the Sabbath day through the corn, and his disciples were hungry and began to pluck the ears of corn and eat. So they're out here doing the works of God. They're out here healing the sick, helping people, preaching the gospel. They traveling. They on the road. You know, nowadays we can just hop in a car and drive or get on a plane and fly somewhere, but these brothers had to walk. They outside walking. So they get to some cornfields and they hungry. And for you, you may not understand, but during Jesus' time, you had these religious leaders or these preachers who, you know, were supposed to be people who had understanding. But see, these people weren't living by the laws that they were preaching. They were, like the Bible called, like Jesus called them several times, they're hypocrites. Meaning they weren't doing what they were telling people. And they always was trying to find fault with Jesus. You know, trying to trip him up, trying to find some way to say, hey, see, look, he wrong. He did wrong. He can't be the Son of God. The Son of God wouldn't do that. But see, we see these same individuals, they coming to Jesus now. Verse 2.
But when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto him, Behold, thy disciples do that which is not lawful to do upon the Sabbath day. But he said unto them, Have ye not read what David did when he was hungered, and they that were with him, how he entered into the house of God and did eat the shewbread, which was not lawful for him to eat, neither for them which were with him, but only for the priest?
So we see here that these Pharisees or these preachers, they came to Jesus and they trying to get him in trouble for eating this corn. Because they saying, hey man, you ain't supposed to be working, it's a Sabbath. Which is funny because if they had any understanding, they would know that, hey, Jesus is the one that gave Moses that commandment. But at any rate, verse 3 says, But he said unto them, Have ye not read what David did when he was hungry, and they were with him? So David, for you may not understand, David was a king in Israel, a great king in Israel. And for, you know, this showbread that Jesus is talking about, it was something that only the priest could do. Could go into the holy place and they could take, you know, of this sacrifice. But David went in there because he was hungry. Why was he hungry? Because he had just got back from battle. He was doing the will of the Lord. Him and his men had been walking just how Jesus had been walking. And his disciples, look, they was hungry. That's why Jesus is reminding these Pharisees about it. It says how he entered into the house of God and did eat the showbread, which was not lawful for him to eat, neither for them which were with him, but only for the priests. Verse 5.
Or have ye not read in the law, how that on the Sabbath day the priests in the temple profane the Sabbaths and are blameless?
So basically he's saying, hey man, instead of you worrying about what I'm doing, you should be worried about what's going on in the temple. They over there profaning the Sabbath day and they're blameless. Verse 6.
But I say unto you that in this place is one greater than the temple.
Because we talking about Jesus right now. They trying to find fault with Jesus on eating something when they should be worried about their wickedness. Keep going.
But if ye had known what this meaneth, I will have mercy and not sacrifice, you would not have condemn the guiltless. For the Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath day.
Keep going.
And when he was departed thence, he went into their synagogue. And behold, there was a man which had his hand withered. And they asked him, saying, Is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath day?
So this kind of goes more to your question, young lady. You got a man who's in the church or the synagogue. His hand is withered. So this man has some type of ailment. He's sick, right? And of course they say, okay, well he might have jacked us up with that question about the corn. He got a point, okay. But surely this man over here who got this hurt hand, we gonna get him on that one. See him going in there and healing him, he doing some work. That ain't supposed to be happening. Which don't even make sense why they would say that. But it says, and behold, there was a man which had an hand withered. And they asked him, saying, Is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath day? So is it lawful for you to help this man on the Sabbath day? Kind of like your question. Is it lawful for you to give money to this homeless person on the Sabbath day? That they might accuse him, because they was trying to trip Jesus up. But pay attention to what he says in verse 11.
And he said unto them, What man shall there be among you that shall have one sheep, and if it fall into a pit on the Sabbath day, will he not lay hold on it and lift it out?
So basically, he going to flip it back on them, because that's all Jesus did. He was going back and forth with these Pharisees and Sadducees all throughout his time being here. They say something, they think they smart, they got some heat. He come back and flame them. It says in verse 11, and he said unto them, What man shall there be among you that shall have one sheep? So if you understand, you got 10 sheep right here, right? These 10 sheep, these your babies. You're going to keep these sheep. You done raise them up from when they were small. You seen them go through all their stages in life. Now, these are your sheep. You their shepherd. You're going to guard these sheep, right? If something happens to one of these sheep, you going to leave the other 9 and you're going to go find that one. Why? Because all of them are precious to you. And Jesus is likening these sheep. He's giving them an analogy, something they can understand. But that's like this man to him. Look, it's the Sabbath. He ain't out there going to a job. He's helping somebody. Somebody who's in need. He has an ailment. That's what Jesus came to heal the sick. It says, and he said unto them, What man shall there be among you that shall have one sheep, and if it fall into a pit on the Sabbath day, will he not lay hold on it and lift it out? Verse 12.
How much then is a man better than a sheep? Wherefore it is lawful to do well on the Sabbath days.
So we see here it's lawful or do good on the Sabbath. Because if you're going to go out for one sheep, you got 10 sheep and one get away, you're going to leave the 9 and go save that one. How much more is it for you to help your fellow man, your brother, your neighbor? You see somebody that's homeless, that needs something, look, you helping them out, you might have just fed them. They might not have eaten for the past 3 days. You don't know what this situation is. And maybe they don't got nowhere to stay. They hadn't had a place to get a good shower. You might give them some money, they can get them a room. But also you want to be aware, turn to Hebrews chapter 13, because, and I ain't saying this is the case, but it's in the Bible for a reason. Because, hey, sometimes you might be dealing with a stranger, and hey, that stranger might not be who you think he is. So it's always good to do good to people when you see them, no matter where you find them at, no matter what time it is. You got an opportunity to help somebody. If you can help them, the Lord wants you to do that. He wants you to do it, whether it's the Sabbath or not the Sabbath. Right? Hebrews chapter 13, and pick it up at verse 1.
Let brotherly love continue. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares.
See, look, it says, be not forgetful to entertain strangers, because thereby you have entertained angels unaware. So look, that homeless man, look, he might not really be a homeless man. He might be somebody that needs something. Hey, that might be an angel. That's why the Bible is telling you beware, because you don't know what you're dealing with. You don't know who you're dealing with. But the Lord is going to count that to your good. Right? Turn to Matthew 25. Matthew 25, and pick it up at verse 31. Because the Lord's going to count it to your good. You help people, you do good things to people. You might be thinking, hey, man, it ain't nothing. It might be an angel. It might be your brother. But even then, if you helping your brother or your sister, when I mean my brother or your sister, just your neighbor, just people you come in contact with. It don't even got to be nobody in the Word. It can be somebody totally outside the Word. But, hey, just like the Bible says, you got to let your light shine. They got to see some good in you. That might show them that, hey, there's some good in this world. It might give them hope. You may be able to minister the Word to them later on. But you will never get that opportunity if you just walk by that person and say, oh, well, God bless you. Because that's what they used to. That's what the rest of the world does. The rest of the world, they see somebody in need, and in their mind, it's like, oh, well, I'm not going to give him my money. It's my money. I work for it. Why they can't go get a job? Look, that ain't for you to know. If you can help that person, help that person. Matthew 25, and pick it up at verse 31.
When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory.
It's coming soon. Verse 32.
And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left.
And this is what you don't want to be. You don't want to be one of these goats that's still on the left hand. One way to ensure that you one of the sheep on the right hand that's going to get into the kingdom, you want to care for your fellow man. Keep going.
Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come ye, blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world.
That's what we all strive for right there, to get into the kingdom of heaven. Keep going.
For I was an hungered, and ye gave me meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me drink. I was a stranger, and ye took me in.
Right? So you see, this is the Lord talking right now. He said, I was hungry. You gave me meat. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. Verse 36.
Naked, and ye clothed me.
I didn't have no clothes, and you gave me some clothes. Keep going.
I was sick, and ye visited me. I was in prison, and ye came unto me. Then the Lord, then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee and hungered, and fed thee, or thirsty, and gave thee drink?
So they're going to say back to the Lord, look, when did we see you hungry and gave you some food? I don't remember that. When was you thirsty and I gave you drink? But pay attention to what the Lord says. Keep going.
When saw we thee a stranger, and took thee in, or naked, and clothed thee? When saw we thee sick, or in prison, and came unto thee?
But pay attention to what the Lord says in verse 40.
And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, ye have done it unto me.
So the Lord going to count that to your right. You helping that person out, giving them some money in their time of need, it's like you giving that money to the Lord. That's how you can give something to the Lord. You want to be able to give something to somebody who already got everything. You don't want nothing for you. He want to know that, hey, yeah, this little sister, she understands that it ain't all about her. It ain't all about us as individuals. It's about our brothers or our neighbors. It says in verse 40, And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, ye have done it unto me. So all them strangers you met, that homeless person you met, that food you gave them, that water you gave them, it was like you was giving it to the Lord. So to answer your question, like we read, the Lord said it's good to do good. It's lawful to do good on the Sabbath. You want to give some money to somebody, you see them on the Sabbath day, you give them the money. The Lord's saying right here, it's going to be like you gave it to him. To answer your question. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. That was a good question.
Great question. I be thinking the same thing. People right on that corner over there, and I don't know where it is. I usually ain't got no money anyway. Broke all the time.
asked us to start. So I was like, fine, burgers and fries. And like, there were two old ladies, and right when I was going to buy food, that old lady got up, came up to the counter, she said, "Don't buy that man nothing," because she was asking for money. She said, "If you have this money, right?" But he's in economy, right? So when we walked up there, that lady said, "Don't buy him nothing." You're the third person who came by there and that trash can over there full of food. Because he didn't want food, right? He wanted money. He was asking for money for something. How you gonna ask for something to eat in a restaurant? Right. People are gonna buy you something. And that lady said about 4 hamburgers, fries, and everything. Yeah. In the trash can that when they turn their back, he's throwing the food away. Right. Asking another person. Right.
Well, I mean, you're going to run into stuff like that in the world. You're going to run into people that's out here, out here scamming, taking from you. But I always like to look at it like, that's on them. That's between them and the Lord. I did mine. Yeah, I did. If you got wind of it, of course you're not going to turn around and do it. But if you see somebody and they ask you for something, you just do the best you can. Let it be in the Lord's hands.
How you
scamming, and he gonna deal with them.
How you know who to like if you can trust these people when they say this stuff though? Because like there's been times like when I used to get on Facebook and stuff where someone will ask me for money, and then like I've been told that this person is a scammer. Like, what's the best course of action? Should you?
Want to use reason, you don't want to be out here just saying everybody take on money. No, you don't want to do that. But at the same time, you see somebody that's in need. If you have no reason to think that they are trying to scam you, then just do what you can. You don't have to. You give them what you can. I understand you got to take care of yourself. The Lord understands that too. He's not expecting you to give all your money, but hey, if your brother needs something, you have no reason to think otherwise. If you can spare it. The Lord gonna give it back to you. We just read in Matthew 25. It's gonna be counted to your righteousness. At the end of the day, it's gonna be counted to you for your good.
One more.
Yeah, that's gonna be on them. You just hold your end of the bargain up.
Yeah, one more thing though. Yes, Jesus says, "Give unto all men that ask of you, and of him that asks, don't turn away." So if someone asks you, and all your bills are paid, but you got this money that you want to do something nice with, maybe you save it for a vacation or blah blah blah, you're still supposed to give that person that money, even though you know. Not, I mean, like he said, if he asks, you give.
You want to do it within reason.
Discernment.
You want to use some discernment, absolutely. You don't want to just say, "Hey, I'm gonna take all my money and just give it all away." No, because hey, you never know. Somebody happy, you might need that money.
But what if the Lord's testing you because he'd be like?
If the Lord is testing you, that's why you want to do the right thing. Because look, just because you got money today, you might need some money from somebody tomorrow.
That's true. If someone's scamming and you know they ain't about to get no food or nothing, and somebody else needs some food, they really need it, you'd be like, nah.
Yeah, you just want to use discernment. If you have reasons to think otherwise, then of course don't fall for that. But like I said, if you see somebody that's homeless or something, and this is something that, like I said, the world does. They look down on the poor. The Bible says we're supposed to help them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they look down on the poor. They see somebody smelling like urine, standing on the side of the road, and they just assume he got a drug problem. Man probably never did drugs in his life.
Probably.
He just might be, having a rough shake at things. You could be the one to help him out. So you want to use discernment, but at the same time, if you see somebody that needs something, hey, if you got it to give it. The Lord is going to give it back to you. That's the whole thing. You don't want to put your trust in the money anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Because some can come, God forbid, bust a tire when you leave here. Your little savings is gone. Mm. Or you blow your transmission, your little savings is gone. Or a tree fall on your house, you don't have insurance. The money that you've accumulated is all gone. Then who you going to have to go to get it? You're going to have to go to the Lord. Well, just use discernment with it, brother. You know, you want to use discernment. You got a question?
In Leviticus 23 and 36, when it talks about the Feast of Tabernacles, it says that it should be a solemn assembly, and I noticed that that was the only feast that says that. Is there...
In Leviticus 23, the Lord's feast day. His whole plan of how he's going to redeem mankind, started from Passover all the way down to Tabernacle. And it says it's a solemn assembly, just mainly pointing to that this is something that you're not going to take lightly. That's all it's saying. All of these feasts are solemn assemblies. You're not going to take, you know, the Feast of Trumpets lightly or Atonement lightly, because all of them point to something. It's not like the Lord, the Lord wants us to have a good time, but it ain't like the Lord just like, okay, throw a party. Y'all just come and y'all eat, play music, and dance. No, y'all can do all of that, but on top of that, y'all need to understand the importance of this thing. That's what it means when it says, 7 days ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord, and on the 8th day shall be an holy convocation unto you. And ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. It is a solemn assembly. And ye shall do no servile work. And it says no servile work because you're going to do work pertaining to the feast. Servile work meaning you're not going to go to work. It's still the Lord's feast. You know, you still got to rest from all that. But servile meaning, you know, going to work. You're going to do work pertaining to the feast. You're going to cook. You know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do to prepare. But that word solemn in there, all of these feasts are solemn assemblies. This is pointing to the importance of the day. Like I mentioned, turn to Colossians chapter 2. Because all of these things that the Lord gave us, down to the Sabbath, down to the Lord's feast days, they all point to something that's coming in the future. Tabernacle primarily pointing to Israel's redemption, but overall mankind's redemption from death. Because we're going to shed these mortal bodies and put on immortal ones, but hey, that's something that you need to know. You need to pay attention to that when you come and keep tabernacle. You don't just need to show up and eat your food and dance and dap your brothers up. Yeah, that's cool, but it needs to be important. You know, you need to come to this day and have some type of reverence for it, some type of understanding. It ain't just a party. It's a party, but with a message behind it. Colossians chapter 2 and 1 verse. Colossians 2. I figured it was verse 16.
Let no man therefore judge you in meat, or in drink, or in respect of an holy day, or of the new moon, or of the Sabbath days.
Right?
Which
So
are...
this is basically Paul talking to the people that in Colossians, basically letting them know, hey, don't let nobody judge you. Because you got to remember, these are Gentiles. You know, they didn't, those laws that you read about in Leviticus 23, that's not common. That was duly preached to them by Paul. And so you got to understand, once it gets preached to them, they're going to go back home, kind of like some of us. When we got some understanding, we went back home and told our friends and family, and here comes the persecution. Paul just basically letting them know, don't let nobody judge you for that. In meat or in drink or in respect of a holy day or tabernacle, atonement, trumpet, or of the new moon or of the Sabbath days. Why though? Verse 17.
which are a shadow of things to come.
Because look, they're just a shadow of things to come. It's kind of like we got a prelude or a precursor, you know, to something that's way bigger in the future. See, tabernacle points to something. That's why it's a solemn assembly. You're going to come. Yeah, you're going to have a good time. Yeah, you're going to feast. Yeah, you're going to eat. But you need to get understanding. Because why? It's a shadow of things to come. But the body is of Christ. Because all of that stuff is pointing to Christ. It's pointing to how Christ is going to redeem this man all the way down to tabernacle. How he's going to redeem this man and make him God again. But yeah, that's why it's saying solemn. It's just basically pointing to the importance of the day. You want to have some type of respect and understand. It's not saying just show up and be all sad and gloomy. No, it's a dude. We're going to rejoice before the Lord, like you said, but you just want to do it with some understanding. That's what it is. Yeah, praise the Lord.
It's about keeping the Sabbath. Alright, so a holy convocation. Alright, so let me see how I can put this. The question is being said out there. The Sabbath and the holy convocation is two different things, right?
The Sabbath is a day. A
Mm-hmm.
holy convocation. Convocation is together. That's just instruction
Right.
what you're supposed to do.
So when does the convocation part end?
When the convocation is,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how we do it, the convocation ends, you have to come to church, you kept the Sabbath, you got some understanding, so you came to what we call church, had a holy gathering. After that,
Mm-hmm.
you convocate, you gathered on the Sabbath day with the saints. Now that don't mean that now that you gathered, the Sabbath day is over,
Right.
you can go out and start. You still gotta wait till sundown. But if you want to
So,
leave, you know,
right. Okay.
you can leave.
Okay.
We just keep the church open, you know, for the entire time for those who don't want to leave. Because some people, hey, they go home, it might be a temptation to turn the TV on. Or turn the game on or something, you know?
Right. Long as right. But if somebody goes home and they go to bed or whatever.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Because also, you got to remember, on the Sabbath, you commanded to rest. If you tired, you had a long week, you had your convocation. If you want to go home and get some rest, by all means, go home and lay it down. Have Bible study playing in the background or don't have it playing in the background.
Okay, because they're have to stay outside. Prayer against one.
Oh, no. Yeah. Tell them to come back in here.
Yeah. I told them to come back in here.
Tell them to come back here and ask you in Bible study. Yeah. Nah, you had your convocation. Look, you want to go home? You can go home.
You know where that is? It Ezra or Nehemiah when they was standing. You know that scripture,
Yeah.
Ezra and Nehemiah, huh? Oh, I ain't used to being up here.
You got a question on that?
Well, it's just it just came to my head, like, Ezra and Nehemiah, they ain't like when they were keeping the feast, they had the holy convocation. They were reading the word for like, I don't know if it was like 8 hours or something,
Right.
all the way from morning to like noon or something, and then they all went off their separate ways and had food, and
Absolutely.
they wasn't just all up on top of each other all day. You know what I'm saying?
Like I said, you have your convocation. You want to go home? Hey, you go home. The church gonna be open. In Atlanta, we keep the church open till sundown because ain't got nothing else to do. Now, if everybody tired, you want to go home. Ain't nothing wrong with that either. You kept the commandment. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
That's another question I have right there. Man, I'm gonna wait till they're done. I have another question after you finish theirs.
Yeah, but go ahead until they get here.
All right, so my question is, like, if I had a kid, like, I see people, they just let their kids play and stuff and, like, watch YouTube and do all this stuff that we wouldn't do on the Sabbath. And, like, I mean, I ain't really been trying to have
Can
a
y'all quiet down a little bit? I'm trying to hear this guy.
I ain't really been trying to have a kid, but I know if I did have a kid, like, I feel like the way I see other people, how they deal with their children, they kind of just let them do whatever they want. and I feel like that's not right. But at the same time, it's like, am I like I don't understand anything about having a kid, but I.
Okay, so your question is dealing with children on the Sabbath. When is it enough when you have to tell that child, like, look, stop playing so much?
Yeah, like, are they exempt from doing their own pleasures? You know what I'm saying? Like, should you?
For children, I mean, the commandment is we're supposed to, abstain from our own pleasures. Isaiah 58 lets you know that. But you got to understand, you're dealing with the child of the mind of a child.
Short attention
Yeah,
span.
the Bible also says foolishness is bound in the hearts of children. Like, they're not going to really understand like you and I understand.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when we see back in Exodus, or back when Israel first came out of Egypt, and the Lord told him to go spy out the land. Let's go read that. Right, yeah, and you want to use it within reason. You want to use discernment. A child who is 15, 13, 12, they got a little understanding. 10 years old, you old enough to know right from wrong. You're old enough to go somewhere and someone tell you to sit down, you stay seated that whole time. But when you got a toddler, somebody who is 4 and 5 years old, they 3 years old, 6, they're children. Right. You can tell them about the Sabbath. They're not going to really understand it. They're not used to sitting in one space at one time, You got to have a little mercy on them. You try to find things that will keep their attention that are Sabbath related. I know a lot of parents, put on Bible applications on the phone, those VeggieTales, stuff like that, kind of hold their attention, or something with some semblance of the Bible, because the stuff that we understand, like, it might be nothing to us, but it might be a little complicated for them to comprehend, be able to understand. But let me see. You want to kind of use discernment, use discernment with children. Use discernment with children because number 13. Number 13, pick it up at verse 17.
And Moses sent them to spy out the land of Canaan, and said unto them, Get you up this way southward, and go up into the mountain, and see the land, what it is, and the people that dwelleth therein, whether they be strong, few, or many, and what the land is that they dwell in, whether it be good or bad, and what cities they be that they dwell in, whether in tents or in strongholds.
So we see Moses took some people out of each tribe and sent them out into the land to spy out the land. This is the land the Lord promised Israel. He said, so, hey, go and check it out, kind of like a little scouting mission. I'm going to send y'all on a scouting mission, bring some reconnaissance back. It says, and see the land, what it is, and the people that dwelleth therein, whether they be strong, weak, few, or many. Because why is he doing it? Because they finna go take this land. So they just scouting the land out to see what they up against, and what the land is that they dwell in, and whether it be good or bad, and what cities they be that dwell in, whether in tents or in strongholds, and what the land is, whether it be fat or lean. So whether this is a good land or it's a not so good land, whether there be wood therein or not, whether he be of good courage, bring of the fruit of the land. Now the time was the time of the first strike rate. So Moses basically saying, look, go check this land out. If y'all find a good report, bring back a little fruit. Verse 21.
So they went up and searched the land from the wilderness of Zin unto Rehob, as men cometh to Hamath. And they ascended by the south, and came unto Hebron, where Ahiman, Sheshai, and Talmai, the children of Anak, were. Now Hebron was built 7 years before Zoan in Egypt. And they came unto the brook of Eshcol, and cut down from thence a branch with one cluster of grapes, and they bare it between two upon a staff, and they brought of the pomegranates and of the figs. The place was called the brook of Eshcol, because of the cluster of grapes which the children of Israel cut down from thence. And they returned from searching of the land 40 days.
So they did what Moses said. They went and searched the land now 40 days, and they brought back some food. Verse 26.
And they went and came to Moses and to Aaron and to all the congregation of the children of Israel unto the wilderness of Paran to Kadesh, and brought back word unto them and unto all the congregation, and showed them the fruit of the land. And they told him and said, We have came unto the land whither thou sentest us, and surely it floweth with milk and honey, and this is the fruit of it.
So they brought the fruit back from the land that Moses sent them to spy, and he said, yeah, surely it's the land flowing with milk and honey. So, yeah, this is a good land. Yeah, it's good, but pay attention to what they say next.
Nevertheless, the people be strong that dwell in the land.
Nevertheless, yeah, hey, it's some giants down there. In so many words, we're going to see that they lack faith. Because they was thinking, oh, these people are so big and so powerful, not understanding that, look, God just brought you out of Egypt, and they took down a whole nation, split a Red Sea. You think he ain't going to help you to the left? Verse 28.
Oh. Nevertheless, the people be still in the land, and the cities are walled and very great. And moreover, we saw the children of Anak there. The Amalekites dwell in the land of the south, and the Hittites and the Jebusites and the Amorites dwell in the mountains, and the Canaanites dwell by the sea and by the coast of Jordan. And Caleb stilled the people before Moses and said, Let us go up at once and possess it, for we are well able to overcome it. But the men that went up with him said, We be not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we. And they brought up an evil report of the land which they had searched unto the children of Israel, saying, The land through which we have gone to search it, it is a land that eateth up the inhabitants thereof. And all the people that we saw in it are men of great stature.
So we see these elders, they're supposed to have some sense, some reverence for God, some understanding, like God just brought us out of Egypt. They were scared, though. But Caleb and Joshua, being among the young people, they had courage. They knew that, hey, God is with us. We ain't got nothing to fear. It says that, but the men went up and said, We be not able to go up against this people, for they are stronger than we. And they brought up an evil report of the land which they had searched out unto the children of Israel. So instead of coming back and saying, hey, this was a good land, let's do it, they came back, spread in fear, saying, look, we can't do that. Them people around here, they're gonna crush us. Keep going.
And there we saw the giants, the sons of Anak, which come of the giants, and we were in our own sights as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight.
So they was afraid. They said these people are some giants. Verse 14.
And all the congregation lifted up their voice and cried, and the people wept that night.
And just like Israel in dramatic fashion, oh, what we gonna do? They came back and told these people giants, and instead of them saying, hey, let's go see for ourselves, let's have faith in God, they just believed it. It says, and all the congregation lifted up their voice and cried, and the people wept that night. They over there crying because they think these people are going to kill them. They go in there and take their land. Verse 2.
And all the children of Israel murmured against Moses and against Aaron. And the whole congregation said unto them, Would God that we had died in the land of Egypt, or would God we had died in the wilderness? And wherefore hath the Lord brought us into this land, to fall by the sword, that our wives and our children should be a prey? Were it not better for us to return into Egypt?
Look at that. The Lord done brought them out of captivity, brought them through the wilderness, been to give them the promised land. And they said, man, with God that we have died in Egypt, or would it have been better if we just died in Egypt? Or would we have been better if we just died in the wilderness? And wherefore the Lord brought us unto this land to fall. So why did the Lord bring us all the way out here just to get killed? To fall by the sword, that our wives and our children should be afraid. So look, they worried about the kids and their wives, right? But pay attention to what happens to them, what happens to them kids they worried about. It says, were it not better for us to return to go back to slavery? Verse 4.
And they said one to another, Let us make a captain, and let us return into Egypt.
Boy, it is crazy. Verse 5.
Then Moses and Aaron fell on their faces before all the assembly of the congregation of the children of Israel.
Because look, they finna get to praying. They're like, what, these folks done lost their mind. Lord forgive them, have mercy on them. I can only imagine how awful. Verse 6.
And Joshua the son of Nun, and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, which were of them that searched the land, rent their clothes. And they spake unto all the company of the children of Israel, saying, The land which we passed through to search it, it is an exceeding good land. If the Lord delight in us, then he will bring us into the land and give it us, a land which floweth with milk and honey. Only rebel not ye against the Lord, neither fear ye the people of the land.
So we see Caleb and Joshua, they had the right mindset. The Lord is going to deliver us. All we got to do is have faith. But them being some of the young people in the group, keep going.
For they are bread for us. Their defense is departed from them, and the Lord is with us. Fear them not.
It said, for they are bread for us. We're going to keep them alive. The Lord is with us. Keep going.
But all the congregation stoned them with stones.
So instead of them starting a slow clap and getting up behind them and saying, yeah, these brothers right, they picked up some stones. It says, but all the congregation bathed them with stones. They're finna kill these folks for talking. Keep going.
And the glory of the Lord appeared in the tabernacle of the congregation before all the children of Israel.
So the Lord see all this going on. He said, look, we go down here and kill man. Verse 11.
And the Lord said unto Moses, How long will this people provoke me?
How long are they going to keep trying my patience?
And how long will it be ere they believe me?
So what else I got to do for them to believe in me? Because at this point he had already done so many miracles, and they still wouldn't believe. Keep going.
For all the signs which I have showed among them,
Mm-hmm.
I will smite them with the pestilence, and disinherit them, and will make of thee a greater nation and mightier than they.
Like I said, look, I'm going to take them out. I'm going to start over with you. But what did Moses say?
And Moses said unto the Lord, Then the Egyptians shall hear, for thou broughtest up this people in thy might from among them, and they will tell it to the inhabitants of this land, for they have heard that the Lord art among this people, that thou, Lord, art seen face to face, and that thy cloud standeth over them, and that thou goest before them by daytime in a pillar of a cloud, and in a pillar of fire by night. Now if thou shalt kill all this people as one man, then the nations which have heard the speak, saying, Because the Lord was not able to bring this people into the land which he sware unto them, therefore he hath slain them in the wilderness.
Jump down to 23, because Moses is basically making concessions for Israel. He's about to start begging for him, like, please, Lord, don't kill him.
Surely they shall not see the land which I swear unto their fathers.
And so the Lord is going to basically say, all right, Moses, I'm not going to kill him, because what Moses was going into, look, he's saying if you kill these people out here, they're going to say, hey, well, the Lord just brought him out here to kill him. The Lord like, yeah, you know what? All right, I'm not going to kill him. I'm not going to kill him and start over with you, but he's going to make a statement in verse 23.
Neither shall any of them that provoked me see it.
So because they didn't do what they were supposed to do, because they didn't have faith, they ain't going to get in. Keep going.
But my servant Caleb, because he had another spirit with him, and hath followed me fully, him will I bring into the land whereinto he went, and his seed shall possess it. Now the Amalekites and the Canaanites dwelt in the valley. Tomorrow turn you and get you into the wilderness by the way of the Red Sea. And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, How long shall I bear with this evil congregation, which murmur against me? I have heard the murmuring of the children of Israel, which they murmur against me. Say unto them, As truly as I live, saith the Lord, as ye have spoken in mine ear, were numbered of you according to your whole number, from 20 years old and upward, which have murmured against me, doubtless ye shall not come into the land, concerning which I swear to ye make you dwell therein, save Caleb the son of Jephunneh and Joshua the son of Nun.
Pay attention to verse 31.
But your little ones, which have said should be a prey, them will I bring in, and they shall know the land which ye have despised.
So the purpose of us going here is basically we see the Lord, he's dealing with these people supposed to have understanding. They older. They supposed to be able to see the works of the Lord and say, look, the Lord delivered us from all of this. We should have faith and believe on him, and he gonna keep delivering us. But instead they lack faith. For who had faith? Caleb and Joshua. And we see that everybody, it says verse 29, your carcasses shall fall in the wilderness, all that were numbered of you. So none of y'all gonna make it because y'all didn't believe. Except Caleb and Joshua, according to your whole number, from 20 years old and upward. So we see the Lord has some mercy on the younger people. And we came here because your question was, at what point do you have to say enough is enough with a child? You have to use discernment, reason. Like I said, if it's a toddler, if it's the Sabbath and they ain't here talking, look, we can go for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. Sometimes even the adults get restless. They got to go out and get something to drink. So imagine being 6 years old. You got to sit in here, listen to somebody talk and go on for hours at a time about something you really don't understand. They're going to get restless. But we see here the Lord, he had mercy on the young ones. He didn't count it to them because I'm pretty sure when they all came back and the whole congregation was crying that night, hey, they was crying too. Their parents in there crying, they crying too. But the Lord had mercy on them because they young. And it's the same way with us. Like I said, some people here, they try, or in Atlanta, I know they try to keep their kids occupied with things that pertain to the Sabbath, like little games that might be, playing the game. You just got to, do the best you can with your child. You know your child more than the next man. Hey, ain't nothing I can do with this one. I'm just going to take him home. He just ain't going to act right. And then some of them, you put that tablet in their lap and they gone to the world. 8 hours at a time. They just, only time you hear when the tablet dies. You just got to use discernment, but at the same time, you want to just take it slow and gradually increase, just like their knowledge is going to gradually increase. Once they start hitting that age of 10, 12, then, you can expect a little bit more out of them. They hit them teenage years, they need to be sitting down and understanding this word. But it's a gradual thing that you want to do over time. You want to continue to work with them. Keep talking to them. Turn to Proverbs 22 because the Bible says you need to take every opportunity you can to train your child up. You wake up in the morning, you be talking to them about the Lord. You walk with them in the day, talk to them about the Lord. Why is it that you put this in them? Because what we're about to read, if you take the time to show this word into your child, it's going to stay with them. And ultimately, you're going to help them obtain everlasting life. Proverbs 22 and verse 6, one verse.
Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
So that's what you want to do. It says, train up a child in the way that he should go. And when he is old, he will not depart from it. You want to take the opportunities you can to, impart godly wisdom on your children. But when they in that age range, man, of 3 years old, I don't even remember how I was when I was 3 years old to 6. You just do the best you can with them. You got to have patience with them. Just how the Lord had patience with them young ones back in Numbers, like we just read.
Praise the Lord.
Holy Convocation, sure. Turn to Leviticus 23.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feast of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feast.
And like I said earlier, convocation simply means a gathering. To convocate is to gather. What's going to constitute it and make it holy is you gathering on the Lord's Sabbath days or his feast days. Days that he set apart. You can't have a holy convocation tomorrow on Sunday. Ain't nothing holy about that. The Lord didn't set that apart. He set today apart, the Sabbath day. That's why it says, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feast of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocation or holy gathering, even these are my feasts. Verse 3.
6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest and holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings.
So this right here encompasses the day that we are on today. And I like to point out how it is notated in the Lord's feast days because, we're going to eat on the Sabbath. So it's not like a regular feast, like Tabernacle, Pentecost, trumpets. We ain't going to have no warmers in here. But why is the Lord, considered in a feast? Because, look, you're going to eat with your mind. You're going to feast on this word of God all day on the Sabbath, because this is the Lord's day. You're going to be dealing with this word of God all day. So you feasting. You ain't eating physical food. You eating the spiritual food. That's why it says, 6 days shall work be done, but on the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest and holy convocation. This is the holy gathering. You shall do no work therein. And if you keep reading, when it's outlined in the feast, it starts saying no servile work. That means you can't do no work at a job. Do work pertaining to the feast. But on today, you ain't doing no kind of work. You ain't gonna do no cooking. You ain't gonna do no cleaning. You gonna do nothing. No work. It says, and ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings. So the commandment is to keep a holy convocation on the Sabbath. The convocation ends. That's that's kind of like, that's up to you. In a sense to decide, if you just rolled by the parking lot and threw the deuces and then kept it going and said I kept the Sabbath or not. If your conscience will let you think like, hey, I was out in the parking lot, man, I seen y'all, who y'all had a call, okay, that's not really having a holy convocation. But if you're gonna come to class, you're gonna sit in class, listen to that 2.5 or 3 hour class, 2 hour class, and you got fed, you ate something mentally. Hey, you had your convocation. If after class you want to go home and lay down, it says you got to rest. You want to go home and take you a nap? Go home and take you a nap. You want to go watch Bible study at home and lay down? You might have had a long week. That's what the Sabbath is for. It's for you to recharge, rejuvenate. Not only your mind, but your body too. Because as mankind, if we didn't have a day set aside telling us to take a break, we're so stupid, we'll just keep working. We'll work 7 days a week. And then wonder why, when we hit 45, we can't stand up straight. We did. Our legs hurt. Knees ain't working. You don't work yourself under the table. That's why the Lord put the Sabbath day out there. It's for you to rest. But as far as the convocation goes, hey, if you're going to keep your convocation, you come to class, I think that constitutes you as keeping a convocation. You had a holy convocation. Now, what you do after that, it still has to fall within the guidelines of keeping the Sabbath. You're still not going to go out here and buy nothing. You're not going to go out here and sell nothing. You ain't going to go home, like it said in Isaiah 58, do your own pleasures. You're going to still, keep the Sabbath. Because right here it says, in all your dwellings.
think. Did you have a question? Oh.
I really don't want to get into this because I don't want to hurt nobody else. But if, let me ask you this: if we were in our own land, what would we be doing?
We were in our own
Would we be
land.
going home, or would we be in the synagogue?
I can't say. I don't know. We ain't in our own land.
So I only say that I feel like people seem crushed. They're not. No matter how many times I can reiterate this, not directed towards one person, just in general. I feel like we use teachers as excuses, crutches to do what we want to do. Right. So with that being said, like if every Sabbath, word and you read, I don't do that. And coming past you ain't got no questions. Something ain't right with that. For me, I feel like we're supposed to be there to eat. Now, I get it. There's no fine time to stay there.
Dang.
Excuse me. So I feel like when it comes to scripture, and I read scripture, like what a day is, and then I see when y'all do Q&A, y'all, even if it ain't no question, y'all just chilling there until night time. It's very easy. So I feel like I just have an issue with people saying, well, Brother Elijah said, or King said, or this person said, for a little bit of wiggle room to justify themselves so they can go ahead and go home early. But we're never having no questions every Saturday. Something to me is something wrong with that. But I do have an issue with that part.
I got you. You want to be careful with that, especially when dealing with people, in the Word, because like it says in 1 John 3 and 4, sin is the transgression of the law.
Right.
I can't read nowhere that you got to have a holy convocation from evening to evening. It just says have a holy convocation.
Right.
So if someone asks you, according to the Bible, no matter how we feel, God is the one that put the law out there. Right. This is his day. He's the one that set it out there. If he wanted us to be here from evening to evening, he would have put it in here. It would have been clear. It wouldn't be no controversy over that. All it says is for you to have a holy convocation. Now, after you have a convocation, if you want to go home, you can go home. If you want to go and lay down, you can go lay down. If you want to go out and preach the word, or whatever you want to do, you're not going to do nothing, that's going to take you out of keeping the Sabbath, but you're not in transgression for that. You can't read that. I can't read that.
Right.
I got to do that. All right. I can't. So therefore, me, being as a teacher in this position, I'm not going to advise nobody. Well, yeah, you got to stay here until the sun go down, because I can't read that nowhere. All it says is you got to have a holy convocation. After you come and you get the word and stay in class, look, you've had you convocated. You can go home after that and rest, because that's also a part of the Sabbath. You just got to stick to what you can read in the book.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. When you say that, it just, I see people use wiggle room. They'll go, well, who say, well, that's the only conversation. Or when it gets to a certain point in time, now I can cook. I see people play around.
Oh no, see that right there, it's point blank, it's cut and dry. You're not gonna do no work on the Sabbath day. As far as cooking, the Bible considers that work. Because you in there making that meal, but you ask any one of these ladies or brothers who might cook, cooking is some work. You're going to go in, you're going to be sweating, lifting up pots, you checking stuff, you burning yourself. You working hard in the kitchen to make that food taste good. But that's something you're going to do on your own time. So that, I can read that.
So, right. But, I mean, you could still read the same thing. Like, if you born, who really preaches to it for all day preaching? People had to be there.
That's something different. That's something different. I can't pull and reach, grab something and say Jesus was preaching to people all day, because you don't know. Some people might have started. Some folks might have went home, just like now. We have